Instead of starting with crumb coating the cake, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my letters for the top of the cake so that they can dry and hold their shape once I'm ready to put them on the cake. So that's what I'm doing here. Rolled out some fondant fairly thick and cut out the T, the E, and the N. And then I'm going to roll out some more fondant to cover the board with. Now that my cardboard squares are cut, I'm going to level off my cake layers and stack them up and put the Italian buttercream as the filling and as the crumb coating. Once I get this bottom part crumb coated, I'm going to stick it in the fridge to chill before I cut my center hole in the center for the Skittles to go into. And then once that's in the fridge, I take my last two layers, and crumb coat them. To get a darker color in my Italian buttercream, I melt a little bit of the icing in the microwave, and then I add the color to it, and then I add it to the main icing and mix it together, and it gives me a darker color instead of just adding the gel color straight to the regular icing. The microwaving it just makes it more intense. I'm taking the same circle cutter that I used on the board to my cake, and I am cutting that circle out all the way down almost to the bottom of the board, not quite. And then I just dig out the cake. Now that the Skittles are in, I'm going to add some supports to support the next tier I'll be laying on top. With this tier, I'm going to cut the cake all the way through to the bottom. That's why I cut the hole in the board. Before I pop this back in the fridge, I am just sealing up the top of the cake, and then I'm also piping a little icing around the middle where the tiers meet, just to kind of ensure they're sticking together, and then I can chill it and bring it out and do the final coat. It is now time to cut out all the ones and zeros that I'm going to be putting on this cake. I wanted it to kind of resemble a sand timer, but instead of sand, have the ones and the zeros for the 10. Now it's time to final coat the cake, and I'm just going to take my colors and alternate them all the way up to the top. And then I will take my long spreader and smooth everything out. Something I've learned over the years is when you're smoothing a square tier, don't drag it over the corner. Just pull your spatula all the way off the cake, and then clean your spatula, and then go to the other side and drag the excess onto that side, and that gives you a really clean and sharp corner. I decided to use my one cutter and then trim a little bit off of it to make like a little pinball lever is kind of what I was going for. So I'm just making two for each side of the cake. Now I'm running some pretty heavy gauge wire through my letters to secure them to the cake. And I'm just shaping a hook on each side of them. That way it holds onto the letter and doesn't swivel around. And then also into the cake. It helps it hold it in one spot. For some extra security, I am sharpening some dowel rods and placing it behind each of the letters, and then I'll add a little bit of icing to help secure them to the dowel rods. And then I also ran a wire through the very top of the letters to keep them, because they were kind of, the end wanted to move back a little bit, so that's helping them all stay all in line. Now it is time to place on all those ones and zeros that I cut out earlier.